Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to have you here with us in Cannes. Maybe we can begin with a brief introduction to Las Novias del Sur. What can people expect when they see your film?
Well, expectation. Hi, I'm Elena Lo, Riera, director of Las Novias del Sur, the Southern Brides. It is a film about women in their elder ages and about desire and wedding and also expectation about love, maybe.
And I know this is sort of an idea or a concept you've been ruminating over for quite some time. Where did that thought process first begin? And then what led you to finally make the film more recently?
Well, it is. The starting point was like 20 years ago because I was already obsessed with this idea of the brides, of this image, this very, very singular images of women dressed up for a wedding and all the whiteness, pureness that is supposed to be with the body of a woman. But I think I should expect till I'm my 40s to do all the reflection that are going with the film.
But it's funny, isn't it? Because things like the image of a bride are so accepted in popular culture, we don't really analyze the root of that image in this idea of the virginous bride, you know, and the whole ritual of a wedding, which of course now we've maybe separated a little bit from really what it originally meant, and sort of that idea of propriety over a woman's body and being given over to a man, being given over to society. And why do you think that is, that we just sort of accept that? And was that one of the things you really wanted to sort of probe at?
Well, we accept it because it's a gesture that we have been repeat for centuries. This is why I'm upset on rituals, on gestures, because we don't criticize them anymore because we are just accepting them. They are separated from the original signification. But if we analyze, and this is in all my films I do that, I took the mythologies that we are dealing with since we are kids, and I'm trying to deconstruct them because if you search for the very meaning of these images or on any other rituals, you go to the very first definition of things, and it's like very often it's like terrible. Like we are celebrating the gift of a virgin in a wedding. And it's quite a thing.
And it's almost, it makes you realize when you're fed such a narrative from such a young age, and it's so pervasive, actually it's something that's quite difficult to break. And most people don't stop and think about it really. Mm-hmm. But do you think that's something that can change?
Well, I hope so. I think it changed. I'm the example. And this is why I'm also saying in the film, I'm the first woman of all my ancestors that are not married and not having kids. And this is, when you think about it, it's like quite a thing as well. Like I stopped with this chain. What does it mean? I don't know. I'm not like, also from a feminist point of view, I'm not sure that this is like the good choice, you know? It's just life.
And tell us a bit about the different elements of your film, and particularly how you play with form, you know, and how your background as a visual artist kind of plays into that, and these two elements, you know, with the images, but then also the voiceover.
Yeah, for me it was also, I didn't want to do a anthropological film. I want to do a critical film about anthropology. It's not the same. So this is why my voiceover is important to me for the film, because otherwise you just have like, you know, the exposition of the reality, and for me it's important also to rethink and reframe history of images, and this is why my voiceover and all this game with the reframing archives are important in the film.
And tell us about how you went about putting together all the different pieces of it. Were there challenges you encountered with the things, favorite moments though along the way?
Yeah, no, it was super challenging because there are things that are not usually together. I mean, the talking heads frame is like also old-fashioned nowadays because nobody wants to do like classical documentaries, and I'm more and more on that. I mean, like, I don't know how to film speeches otherwise. I mean, in and being respectful with the realism of their word, of the sound of the voice, of a lot of things otherwise than putting the camera just in front. I mean, for me, it's also a matter of respect of these people. So it was, but at the very beginning, we were not sure that it's matching with my voiceover, very poetic, very subjective, very in a first person. So yeah, everything was challenging on the editing part.
And in the making of it, did you have a favorite moment, or you watch it back now that's like your...
Well, my favorite moment maybe is at the end. This very simple conclusion of the film with these women of 103 years old who said, best thing of life is fuck. It's like, okay, I cannot say anything more, but like now I can say it better. So I have nothing to add.
And in terms of the sort of more technical aspects of it, you know, what period of time were you making it over, and how much of the making do you think is also in the editing room, and how it's finally put
Everything
together?
is in the editing room. All films are made in the editing room. Is the very important part of the cinema for me. To me, I'm writing my films on the editing room always. So it was challenging, especially for that one, because I was writing my personal voiceover during the editing process, so it was twice hard, twice challenging. It was a challenge, but I'm happy I learned a lot of things with the films about myself and about the others, and it's a very special film for me.
And how do you think the film, because obviously there are universal themes there, you know, and the way we see marriage can be different, similar in lots of different countries, particularly films that come out of Hollywood, you know, particularly repeating that narrative. But how do you think it's also quite specific to Spanish society, and perhaps some of the ways in which Spanish society is quite traditional? Or there seems to be an interesting thing happening in Spain with the feminist movement, where it feels like it's a very, very strong movement, but there's also almost just as a strong resistance pushing back, even amongst women as well.
Obviously, I think we have this very strong movement because they have this very heavy culture of machismo culture, but I don't think it's Spanish. I mean, machismo, unfortunately, is everywhere. Like, for me, it's very important also to say that, because very often we listen like, no, in the periphery, in the rural, medium landscape, like there are more matches in small towns, but it's not. I mean, we have machismo in government, in the cinema, in Paris, in London, in everywhere. I mean, machismo is everywhere. So let's also think wider, and not because it's something that, yeah, that really, I don't like it. Like when we think about women from a peripheric landscape or rural life, they are like less intelligent or less courageous, and it's not true. I mean, machismo is everywhere.
Definitely. And what does it mean to you to have the film here at Cannes Film Festival?
Well, I mean, it can come on. I'm super happy. I'm super happy and I'm surprised because, yeah, it's a small film and I didn't expect to be here, but I'm extremely happy and I'm honored to be here.
And what do you hope the impact of your film to be? You know, obviously, you know, one film can't overturn centuries of these sorts of ideas and these rituals, but you know, the power of cinema is to provoke thought, to provoke conversation, and as we said at the beginning, something that people haven't analysed, and maybe we should be more closely.
Well, it's very hard for me to think my work on terms of impact, but hopefully not for me, but for these women. Hopefully this women's word could be spread and someone listen to them because they are incredible. So I hope, but I don't know. It's 40 minutes length film, documentary. It's not that easy to make it circulate, but hope that could be seen.
And in terms of other influences you take in your approach to the look and feel of your film, are there other filmmakers or films that you cite, whether in Spanish cinema or further beyond?
A lot of them. I'm a cinephile. Pasolini on first place always. Jan Ustash, Chantal Ackerman. They all at some point of their careers, they all ask their moms or their grandmoms or other people about intimacy, and they are very big, the biggest filmmakers ever. So maybe it's not that, it's not that small to talk about intimacy.
And in terms of the health of the industry in Spain, how do you see that right now? And particularly opportunities for female filmmakers, is it something that's in a really good place? Is it something that is still, needing progress to be made?
I think it's a good moment for Spanish cinema, and also maybe because I am Spanish and I feel like, I feel very well with my colleagues, and we exchange a lot, especially with female directors. And I hope the industry also gets something from this movement.
Absolutely. And do you know what you're going to be working on next, or are you still thinking about it?
I am writing a feature film.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you give us any hints? Or
It's about an spiritist, feminist addict to morphine in the early 20th centuries.
Wow.
And that's
You
all I
don't
guess.
take easy subjects.
No, never.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Thank you.
And really enjoy the rest of the time here in Cannes.
Thank
Muchas
you.
gracias.
Muchas gracias a ti.